Okay, it is that time once again. It's time to do my VFL. We are approaching the end of VFL. This is the last week for EMEA and Pacific. Now, for me, I mean, I don't even have any Pacific players left, interestingly enough. Last week, of course, was a complete disaster. I mean, the Zekken IGL, how many points did I end up on? I'm in the 4,000s here. 84 points, complete disaster week. Multiple players just absolutely trolling me. Overall, for the event total, where does that put me? I'm still in the top 50, which is great, but obviously I was trying to win. I mean, I was literally playing to win. Unfortunately, LeBon John is still 20 points ahead, by the way. You can't see it, but they're on 504. Well done, LeBon John, 20 points ahead. I'm going to need some miracle to catch you up, but I mean, Klutz X as well. Good for you, 484. You're doing pretty well. I still think top 10 is possible. Right, I'm not that far away. How many points am I off? Like 16 points off top 10? So that's still possible, I think. So top 10 is my new goal. I don't think I'm going to beat LeBon John, but top 10 is doable. This is my team. It is only got 5 Americas playing it. Zekken won't be the IGL. Do not worry about that. It's only got 5 Americas, so I do have to. I would love to get rid of Zekken playing against Lev this week. I would love to, after trolling me so hard. But I can't. And I must get rid of 3 EMEA players. Now, in my head, it kind of comes down to a couple things, right? Sop for Foot here is playing against Team Heretics, who did look better. I know he's on my org, but Foot don't have that much to play for. They might troll a little bit. They might, pick a map that maybe they're not super comfortable on just to get some experience on it. They might, play a bit of a weird comp and maybe not play at their absolute peak. And so I think it's probably time to get rid of Sop. I also think Fnatic are in a similar situation. Again, champ points do matter, but let's be real. A Fnatic are playing with a sub as well. So it is possible as well to get rid of Crashies and Alpha. And the advantage of getting rid of Sop, Crashies, and Alpha is those are my expensive players left, right, to get rid of. And what that means is I'll get 2 weeks of the good Americas players. Whatever Americas players I'm about to bring in, I'll get 2 weeks of good Americas players, right? And particularly NRG, they play against EG this week, so that's like a really good time to bring them in. Crew as well are getting some favorable matchups. I've already got Double Furia for their games left. Crew this week play against 100 Thieves, then they play EG, so I think, that's a decent time. And Lev play against MIBR, so that's kind of a game I do want to avoid a little bit. You could make an argument here that someone like C9, for a team like C9, it's a good time to buy them. They play Loud. You could also argue it's a good time to buy Loud, to be honest as well, right? Loud, they play C9. They then got Lev, though. So that's the problem with buying C9 and Loud this week, is that I'm a little bit unsure, but it's not impossible. They are decent, cheaper options. But I think I want to go for my good players this week. Now, I have a little bit of money in the bank, so I actually have an extra Valorant point to spend as well. But if this week I am going to get rid of Sop, Crashies, Alpha, I do want to kind of save a little bit for next week to give me some better options as well for that final week. So we're going to be targeting NRG, I think, and we are going to be getting rid of Sop, Crashies, and Alpha. Now, there is one player who I haven't mentioned who isn't on NRG that I definitely know that I want. And that is, of course, I want a second crew player, and I'm fairly certain I want less to replace Alfia as my Sentinel. I shouldn't really need to explain why that's a good pick. Crew look amazing. Les looks amazing. And so that is going to be the first transfer, is getting rid of Alfia and bringing in Les, because that's just going to be pretty good, I think. So, yeah, we're going to get rid of Alpha, bring in less, and you see that gives me a whole 6 to spend. And this is, I think, where I want to double down on NRG playing against EG this week, and so therefore getting rid of Crashies. And this is really where I do have a bit of a choice, because I can either go for Brock or Ethan. Now, Ethan saves me more points, but obviously the ceiling of points is a lot less, and I've seen quite a few people with Ethan, and I think Ethan in general, on a good team, cheap option, will be a pretty popular pick. So I'm not going to save as much as I possibly could, and I am going to go instead for Brock. And then finally, we're getting rid of Sop here. I have 5.5 to spend, And again, I want to go NRG for their game against EG. And I know that Madder has been playing Harbour. He's not been getting a lot of points. He's had some very low scores. Some people have been absolutely trolled by Madder in some of these earlier games. But I need to take some risks. Again, I'm still aiming for that top 10. I want to be different than people. And Madder, I think, against EG is a pretty safe IGL option. And so I'm going to bring him in. This still gives me an extra 1.5 for next week, which isn't a lot, right? I still will have to go for some cheaper players next week. But I'm getting 2 weeks of Brook, 2 weeks of Madder, 2 weeks of less by doing this. And so those are my 3 transfers. I did have some debate over Brook. Should I bring in a G2 player? Because G2 play against C9 this week. You know, they'll probably win that game. There was some debate, but the problem I have with G2 players, in terms of bringing them in, is I just don't know which one to pick. I mean, I couldn't pick Valen because he's a controller. The same for Kiko. I'd much rather have Kiko than Madder, but again, I've unfortunately listed him as a controller in this. And so I couldn't pick him up either. And then it's like, do I want Baby Bay? Do I want Joe? Do I want Leaf? You know, like I just don't I trust the team to win. I'm just not sure who's gonna frag. And you might argue, well, Madder's not been fragging, so why would you pick him? You know, you say you're not sure. Like, why would you pick this guy? And honestly, that's a fair point. But I've got to take a risk. I could make less my IGL. But you're playing against EG. This should be a 2-0. Madder is known for getting aces. Madder IGL. Away we go. And I just have to pray here that basically Eternal Fire do care in their game against Giants and do win, because that game doesn't mean a lot for them, to be honest. Purple, I think, should be fine against Gentlemates. And then, like, my actual team, I don't think looks too bad. And, you know, I've only got 1 Lev and 1 MIBR, so that shouldn't be too bad either. And so, yeah, this is what we're going for.